everyone, this is Kelly, and I am going to do a bit of a two-parter, right? The two separate videos, but this is just the intro to the two parts of the video. I'll have a link from one to the other and vice versa in case you come on this later down the road. But I had a funny or interesting experience in that I don't personally purchase decks that have focus all on one gender or the other. So a divine feminine or a divine masculine styled tarot deck. Now, I do have oracle decks. There aren't very many divine masculine, unfortunately. I do have oracle decks, but in terms of tarot, I tend to really like to have more than one gender being focused on, or gender, I should say this, I prefer gender not to be a focus of my tarot decks. And so there are some amazing decks out there that have all females in them, a lot more obviously that are all females than there are all male. I can only think of a couple that would have a focus on male energy. So unfortunately that's not very balanced at the moment, but I don't buy either one of those because I don't want gender to be the focus, and I do like there to be multiple genders within a tarot deck, or the focus not to be on gender. I think that's a better way to put that. So in the same week, I was first contacted by the very lovely creator of the Story Medicine Tarot, and I'll get into all the bits and bobs here when I go into that. I was contacted by her, and I said something along the same, that I contacted in order to do a walkthrough. I said, well, I don't normally purchase decks, or my focus isn't on all single gender or focusing on a gender in tarot decks. It's just not my thing. But I had watched her, there's a video that she has that's linked with the deck, and it just felt very I could just really feel her energy. It was a fantastic experience watching it, and that really sucked me in energetically. And I was like, you know what? Just so that you're aware, I don't generally purchase decks that are all one gender or gender focused, but I'd be happy to do a review of your deck. Within a few days of that, the creator of the Divine Masculine contacted me, and I told him, I said, you know, this is funny because I don't, again, normally I would not be interested in, for my own personal collection, I wouldn't be interested in a deck that is focused on gender, especially, you know, again, divine masculine or divine feminine in terms of a tarot deck. It just wouldn't, it's just not something that, the way that I read tarot, I want to see all of the genders involved, and or just the gender not being the focus. But I said, funnily enough, and I know that's not a word, but I'm using it, funnily enough, I just, you know, heard from somebody on an all-female deck, and had said, you know, I'll be interested in taking a look at it. So sure, you know, given that, like, just to be aware, that's kind of where I approach these things. But I'd be happy to do your deck review. I'd be happy to do a review of your deck. So that's why I'm gonna. Okay, so this is outside of my normal comfort zone in terms of decks that I would purchase for myself. But I thought, okay, I'll do these. They came together within a couple days of requests, and so let's, you know, take a look at the tarot from that lens of more of a lean into the divine feminine in some way here, as well as this one's actually called the divine masculine, but this has that feel to me of the divine feminine and very female focused journey. So yeah. So that's what I'm going to do, is take a look at both of these and see what we think, see what we have to see. I'm going to start here because the first request was the Story Medicine Tarot. So I'm going to start here, and then I'll have another video, and I'll link those together so that you can take a look at tarot from a very specific lens of telling a story through, in some degrees, a gendered experience, to tap into those energies, which I'm not opposed to. Like, I've gotten messages before, like, I'm not opposed to these decks. They just aren't the decks that I pick up and use, given the way that I read tarot. So that's all there. So again, let's get started though with the Story Medicine Tarot, which is, this is the first edition. Now she has and has sent me another edition, I think, that is called the Animal Woman, that goes into another, but for the purposes of today, I'm just doing a look at the main edition here of the Story Medicine Tarot. So this says, storytelling is a healing art. Like tarot, when we hear a story, we feel it with our whole being. We feel what is possible for us. We imagine different outcomes and try on different perspectives. We take back the magic of being the narrator of our own life. Story is a powerful force of nature. Story is our medicine, and the time is right now. So I love that, right? This idea of this being the Story Medicine Tarot, it is super powerful, obviously, to me, if you know me at all. I love this. Are you ready to hear a story? So the Story Medicine Tarot is weaved of 4 pillar stories told by story healer Jessica Zinchuk. The 4 stories take you on a journey into woman. Start in the mind's black sky, sink down into choppy heart waters, then explore the spine that binds our soul pages, and lastly, travel down to the red roots of the woman. These instinctual and primal roots catch fire when woman knows her magic. These flames start at the base of the pelvis, shoot up the entire body, and out of the top of the skull, bringing the journey full circle. I love this. The deck includes 78 hand-painted cards, a guidebook with interpretation and directions on how to make story with tarot. Are you ready to hear a story? Then we have that here. So, here, okay, let's do this. Pull the cards. They are quite large cards. I would call these kind of oracle size, sort of like independent oracle size. It's not like, say, the size of Blue Angel or something like that, but like this is the spirit cards. Now this I've trimmed down, but it's a similar, so it's definitely a large card, but not like a full, you know, oracle size here, but they are large cards, which I like in some instances. Obviously, if I'm doing a giant spread, not so much, but I can see this type of deck, you know, really leaning into pulling 3 cards or things of that nature. And sometimes I appreciate a large card. They can be hard to shuffle, but this, I believe, maybe is Game Crafters. And so it's not a super thick cardstock, so my guess is this is going to shuffle nicely, but we shall see. It has a linen feel, which I adore. These tarot cards were dream channeled, painted, printed, and packaged with a heartfelt prayer for, I love that, with a healing prayer for your healing and highest purpose. And again, this was the energy that drew me to saying yes to the deck, right? Isn't there a show? I'm not a big on those types of shows, but isn't there, like I say yes to the dress show, this is a say yes to the deck, is that when I watch, and I'll put a link to her website below, but when I watched her video, again, this was like an person who was telling story with song, with poetry, with her mouth, with her body. There's a sense of uninhibited joy, uninhibited connection and comfortability with her body. That is something that I will say is not something I excel at. But I really appreciated it. There was this feeling of her as a story healer. I believe that everything that she did, as she created it, as she dreamed it, as she painted it, as she packages it in the package, I fully buy into that. That her energy goes into that. that with nothing but good intentions. And that was a powerful experience, to be able to see somebody that's so invested in their storytelling through something that you can feel that palpably across distance, and that really intrigued me. So again, here we have the guidebook, and it is again created by Jessica Zinchuk. Oh, here's a love letter. Let's read the love letter because it's not long. The wisdom of the tarot came to me in a dream, suggesting I weave it into my story medicine work. I was caught off guard, but I trusted. I started reading cards by channeling and telling stories with my voice. Story reading spread like a wildfire. It turns out my big storytelling voice and the tarot had a lot to say. The healing was spreading. Then, Tarot Story Circle was born. Beautiful stories spun for the collective. A monthly tarot story scope for the story lovers. My 32nd birthday was on a dark moon, and I pulled the Ace of Cups for my year ahead. My gift that day was a clear message received. Deep inside, I saw all the women inside of me pulling and pouring their stories together to make the story medicine tarot. So here she is, a true expression of all that I am. These are my very real stories. I roared as they ripped through my pelvic bones to be here. These are the stories I've lived and still live. The stories of all the women inside of me, of you, of us. This deck of cards is my heart and my gift to the world, the legacy I want to leave behind. I open my vessel to the ends of love and back to channel this deck for us. I fell from the moon and I scraped my heart hard. I spoke to the highest mountains and I sat at the bottom of the Mother God's belly, waiting and wanting in the darkness. May these stories quench your thirst again and again. And again, this literally gives me goosebumps. Like I feel her. I feel that she gave birth to this. And that means a lot to me as a woman, right? As a human, as a creator. I can feel, as a lover of story and the power of story to exalt us and shred us at the same time. I can really feel that, and that really means a lot to me. So I love it. So she does an introduction to the 4 stories here, the 4 pillar stories, which I'm understanding these would be the 4 suits that are there. In the 4 stories, each woman is channeling her page maiden, knight young mother, queen goddess mother, and king grandmother wisdom. So you have that energy in the courts as the maiden, mother, goddess mother, and grandmother. I love the grandmother as the wisest wisdom, or in the hierarchy. I love the grandmother being last. That makes me very happy. These 4 elemental women stamp their feet together on the world, making one powerful drumbeat, calling in all the stories and meeting at the center of love. I love, 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 love that. The artwork was channeled and illustrated by the perfect hands of my lover. Okay, so I did not know that. I'm so sorry to, I don't think he's listed here. But so I do like to obviously make sure I state that about the artist, so I love that. His water and my earth make fire, hence the flame mosaic that we designed for the back of the cards. It was cut from magazines and books. Oh, you can see that. Let's see if you can. So it's kind of like a collaged fire, which is awesome. Cut from magazines and books. Fire is a spiritual symbol of life, truth, and transformation. We felt strongly about keeping the women in our deck naked because they are free and untamed. So if you yeah, definitely I should warn you. There is, I think all of the images of women here are naked. So if you are uncomfortable with that, it certainly isn't for the sake of sexual nature, although maybe some of it is, but it is just woman, right? because they are free and untamed. This is a loud prayer and holy expression of woman. It was a moving experience to pose for the drawings. I have never felt the tarot alive in my body before. It was truly healing. I breathed life into his drawings with, oh, okay, so it was about, so he must have sketched them and then she went in. I thought I had seen that she had painted watercolor, oil pastels. So yeah, it is a combination of them both. So that's pretty awesome. It has an ancient storyteller spread, which I quite love. I love a spread that has to do with the theme of the deck. That's a kind of a, not a pet peeve. I really am sad when I don't see that in a guidebook. This one we can see that does, so we will, it's a large spread, so see what I said about that? Well, I take it back. Oh, so then it tells a story about Rose. This is the story of woman growing into her boundaries, resurrecting into her strength. It is a bone-deep knowing. Oh, okay, so then it goes into the major themes. The swords, it starts with the swords. Okay, so I'm trying to see how the deck, okay, let's figure this out here together. We're obviously figuring it out together. So she's associating these themes with the swords. These, I wonder if they're set up that way. Let me just take a peek. Oh, so I may have to reorder this. Okay, I think I'm gonna reorder this real quick with the way that she has it in the guidebook so that I can stay and we can be walking through this. I love this. Again, lots of thought, lots of intentionality that is here. This is quite beautiful. I still may go through and read this because this looks like this is that trajectory story and it's not super long. And again, this is a story tarot. If we can't pause for a story, then I don't know when we can. So let me pause this for a minute. Okay, I am back. This is what happens, right? When we get to first impression this together. Okay, so I love this so much. So there are literally 4 stories. I thought that what she was just talking about, the 4 suits, and it is associated with the 4 suits, but there is a story for each of the tarot has been broken into 4 stories. The first story is the woman with horns, and so she gives you the whole story, and then she also notes in the story where it is reflective of the different tarot cards. You know, for example, Rose was shattered and heartbroken, caught off guard, and so then we have the 3 of Swords. And so here we have something that happens and we have it associated with the 10 of Swords and death. So she's putting in the story, the association, so that you can really lean into that story in the process of the swords. Then she gives a wisdom message. So what is the overall message for this part of the story? So we're gonna look at that because there's 4 of these. I'm not going to read the whole stories because I don't want to give off all of her stories. I thought it was one story kind of doing them all, but I'll give you an example with the wisdom message here. In the suit of swords, which is the first suit, which you know is my favorite suit. From what I can tell, this is more, you know, it does its own thing, but it does, you can see the tie-ins to the Rider-Waite-Smith, and so we're going to see the swords in that way as well. So the wisdom message for this first story, The Woman with Horns, this is a story of woman growing into her boundaries, resurrecting into her strength. It is a bone-deep knowing of when to let your thorns down and when to go to war. There is major bloodshed in this story. The soul collector stops at nothing to take innocent Rose down. She doesn't even know what hit her, but isn't that love? Love always has a way of hitting us right at the back of the head when we least expect it to. Love is chaos, pain, pleasure, and more than anything else, mystery. Living out boundaries and falling in love with yourself first is essential for self-preservation. When Rose rises up from the ground, she is matured. She is no longer naive and green. She is the preacher and follower of her own truth and religion. When working with the aspects of the mind, vision, inner seeing and knowing, call on the spirit of the rose for protection and strength. So I quite love this. So then I'm going to zoom this out. Okay, we can get it all on here. I want you to be able to see the cards well, but I also want to follow this along, or in this first part at least, show you what's happening. So she gives you the story for this first story, second story, third story, 4 stories. She gives you the wisdom message of what it means to pull a card that is associated with this story. She then breaks it down into the cards that go with this story. She has the major themes, which are the cards from the major arcana that go with the story. She gives us the swords, or the suit cards, the numbered cards. And then she gives us the women, which would be the court cards here. And then she gives you a nice little paragraph here on each of them. So for example, for the first one, which is strength, I love the strength. This is a woman who is literally wearing her horns. She is completely integrated versus the strength that we'll see with those energies separated out. The woman with horns. I am a fierce protector of boundaries. I am my own healer. I am the tamer and the wild beast. I am the tender flower and the sharp thorns. I am unafraid of bleeding, of cutting others. I understand now what is necessary to heal and grow myself. I speak clearly in my bold truth. I am unapologetic for showing my horns. I am not afraid of my strength and my power. So all of these are written in I form affirmations, and you can really hear her voice here. Both in the imagery is very much reflective of what we see here, but it's very powerful. Like, you do feel like you are invoking. Like, I have a couple decks where you just need to go to the booklet and read it out loud. And I feel like this is going to be a deck of that nature. So we have all of the cards in that I am version. So I'll read the first of the ace, and I'll read one of the grandmother here as well when we get to them, just so that you can get a feel for the majors, the pips, and then the court cards that are here. So we have in this section of the story of the rose strength, and again you can see the rose here, you can see everything that she's talking about. No shying away from blood. We are born in blood. As a woman, we bleed monthly. Blood is a part of the nature of being human, certainly being a woman. So I think that that's really gorgeous there. I love this Chariot. Chariot's my birth card, and I don't often connect with the energy of the Chariot, but this I think is really beautiful. You have a sense of motion. You have a sense of forward motion. She even says, I am charging towards free. It's absolutely beautiful imagery for that. Lover's card takes on calls it the nectar collector, which I associate with something else, but makes sense here. I do like in a deck that is about women, or about a single gender, right? And I think whether you're a man or a woman, understanding the need to know how to pleasure self and to love yourself, both internally and externally, is a positive thing. To know what you want before you partner with anybody else is always a positive, right? So while I think that I can often be uncomfortable with sexuality, overt sexuality in decks, I think that this works really well for the Lover's card, and I think that we need to get over it, aka I need to get over it. Here we have the Death. This is Skeleton Woman. So they're each named something here, and that goes, they each have they each have kind of a name to them. So for example, Strength is the woman with horns. The Chariot is Blazing Feet. The Nectar Collector. Death is the Skeleton Woman. And again, you can see the roses. Let me see, are there roses in, no, there's not roses there. Okay. I didn't know if there were roses in all of the ones with roses. Darkness, my wing woman, my right hand. I make the bones rattle, clack, howl, and sing out. I burn down what is necessary in the name of holy destruction. My heels are noisy as I tango with death. You will hear me coming. There's definitely a beautiful synergy to the movement and the motion here. It's a gorgeous death card. The devil, oh, yeah, the death. Okay, devil, I read that as skeleton woman. The devil is the soul collector. I keep a horrible and scary collection of human souls. I am a master shaper shifter. Stay awake or you won't catch me coming. I am always hungry, never satisfied. I am the eater of reality, dreams, and joy. Stay awake. Definitely that creepy Slender Man kind of feel to the devil. We don't want to abdicate our power to this particular devil. I will say the size to me seems almost perfect in terms of visually. I really love the look of the size of it. I like the linen. You can see the linen. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on here, but you can see the linen texture really beautifully, which is a favorite thing of mine. There is a sheen to them, but they are not what I would call glossy. It's more like a sheen. I don't know if you can hit gloss, so it's like a high sheen, I would call it. But anyways, the color saturation is stunning. It really is quite beautiful. I like that the title is just clean and on the bottom, and is not interfering with the picture. So those are the 4 connected with the story. And again, as you read the story, she cues you in at where those cards are. Excuse me, when you get to the pips, we have sort of a keyword for each of them. For example, the Ace of Swords as clarity, the 2 of Swords as conflict, the 3 of Swords as the bleeding heart. So it's kind of got like a title for each of the pips as well. And then again, it still has an I term. So if the Ace of Swords is clarity, I am life-giving idea, a new perspective that offers healing to the mind. I am the opening of a new passageway. I am truth. I am the hidden power and energy behind a word or thought. I am a moment of magic seeing, knowing, remembering, and awakening. I am a breath of fresh air. I love that. Love that. So, you know, then you obviously go through the pips here. Again, Ace of Swords, 2 of Swords, still have the crossed swords here. 3 of Swords, again, what I would say as the Rider-Waite Smith, you know, learning from, for me, it's 3 of Swords is learning from our experience, not always negative, but, you know, I can work with this. She is going to continue to learn. She's going to release and learn. I love this 4 of Swords. I think it is absolutely stunning. It is titled The Healing Sleep, which I think is amazing. The card with just the blackness, although there's all kinds of texture that is within black, so black doesn't need to be flat, right? And this is not. This is really gorgeous texture in there, and the sleeping 4 of Swords. 5 of Swords is the opposite, stay awake. Like, whoa, you've got, you know, chaos is happening here. There's a lot that's going on. Obviously, it feels like a fire. It seems like the fiery aspect of the mind, right? There is a lot of energy that is happening here, and it is agitating fiery aspect of Swords. Here we have the 6 of Swords as hope. I quite love that. She is reaching out and up and away from where she is. It's like she's at the bottom of the water and she's reaching up towards the top. These black cards with the symbol or the person just in it by themselves are, to me, really powerful. This is obviously on the box here as well. 7 of Swords. Oh, I really like this. The wisdom way. So 6 of Swords is hope. The 7 of Swords is the wisdom way. The way of highest truth and integrity. I really like that depiction of the 7 of Swords. You've got to ground yourself in wisdom and then move forward. 4 plus 3. The 8 of Swords is hostage. Tangled up here. She can get herself out though. The 9 of Swords here is facing fear. Again, I really love these depictions with the blackness. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then the Ten of Swords is the dead end. Now, you know, again, I don't tend to read Ten of Swords as a dead end. I can get into it a lot more in this deck because, of course, it is this whole trajectory of a story. I am the end of the road. You will have to find another way now. Do you hear the bones rattling? The skeleton woman is coming to collect death. Something must die now. It's time to go back into the earth. So it's time to let go of something and start afresh, right? Again, leaning towards the Rider-Waite-Smith idea of things, although there are some deviations from that. Most specifically, I would say in the Seven of Swords, which I love. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So then we come to the court cards. So the court cards, of course, are named. So we have, oh, she actually has it this way, but that's okay. I love, again, the grandmothers as sort of the top hierarchy, but we see it moving from daughter to young mother to goddess energy here. Do you see how her arm has become a the rose, she's holding the thorns here. The thorns coming out of her she's holding a rose here. The rose is coming out of her head here. It's bloomed partway out of. Oh, look. Okay. Pause, Kelly. Look. Do you see? Bud opening further, fully opened on the head. We also have her holding the rose here. We have her arm here becoming the rose stem of the rose with the thorns, and here her entire shoulders in the grandmother have become the thorns and the prickles of the rose. Really gorgeous. Let's read this one. Grandmother of Swords, I am the master storyteller, passing down rich tradition through the wisdom of the folk tales. I teach the young ones to be sharp and hold healthy boundaries. My thorns protect my heart, and I always stem from inner vision. I channel the highest perspective and speak it with my voice. I love this. Absolutely gorgeous, and I love it. And you know, sword suit is my suit. So that is the first story. So now I know I kind of did that weirdly, but I wanted you to really see what you get out of this guidebook, because while this guidebook is small, I can clearly tell this is one of those mighty guidebooks that you need to go back to and read when you look at these cards, so that you don't miss the oracle that is her message, which is found not just in the cards, not just in the painting, but also in these I statements that we have here that are really quite powerful. So the next story is called The Divine Belly. The wisdom here, I'm going to read the wisdoms on these. The kelp rattle is a sacred tool used to speak with the great mother god. She is our first love, first home, teacher, and healer. When we see kelp washed up on the beach, we are reminded of our journey. We are the kelp people. This story is a conversation that takes place as we come forth from the clay of the Creator's heart and are fired into our physical existence. The miraculous and vibrating moment right before conception, before we are planted and take form as a vibrating moment. Before we are planted and take form as a mere glow or glimmer, the moment we have been made for. When the journey is over, we return home to the same mysterious clay. May the story be a guiding light and manifesto for your heart. May the story remind you to care for your heart, to flow from it as you walk your medicine path and purpose. When working with the aspects of the heart, love and desire, call upon the spirit of the kelp for clarity and flow. I'm so sorry. So the moon is the ancient mother. I'm not a fan always of faces and moons, but I love the idea of the moon as the ancient mother. Again, love the use of texture in her darks. It does make me very, very happy. So the moon as the ancient mother. This star card, I saw this star card when I was just flipping through to put them in order. This star card may be, I would have to say, one of my favorite star cards. As soon as I saw it, it just brought me joy. And it's called Looking Up. I am hope. I am blank pages, clear water, seeds, and dawn's first light. I am a deep and mysterious healing that refreshes your spirit. I am a better life calling you to rise up and shine brightly. I am the yearning to radiate in love. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It makes me extremely happy. I love this High Priestess as well. This is Moon Woman. Yes, yes it is. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm sorry. I mean, it is what it is. Like, this definitely is stunning. This Justice is the light heart. You know, Justice and the Queen of Swords are kind of my cards. This is called the light heart. I am the heart dancing and free. I am the heart true to just be. I will constrict when something is not right. I will ache when I am hungry for raw truth. I am the conscience, the indestructible lighthouse that stands on the rocky shore of your heart water. I am always there to guide you back home to love. What I like is that we know, of course, she is heart, and then she's holding the feather, so you kind of have that Mott connection to weighing the feather, which is quite beautiful. But again, just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. To me, this is a portrait of her, and obviously sketched by someone who loves her, and I think that it is just beautifully done. Here we have the Wheel of Fortune as Spin Love. You know, of course, you have that idea of Fortune's thread here, and we obviously have more grandmother energy in the Wheel of Fortune. I like that we really are seeing a lot of body shapes. Some are more, you know, just what I would say, just a normal, you know, I guess average size. That's a terrible way to put it, isn't it? I apologize. Just average. So average weight, you see thinner, you see more voluptuous, you see old, you obviously see young, you see perky boobs and not as perky boobs, and you know what happens to older boobs, and you know, it's just different types of nipples. I mean, it's all there in a variety of ways, which I think is just, it's really gorgeous and well done. So I do like to see that full expression of physicality of woman, is guess what I would say, right? Here we have the Ace of Cups as endless love. We have the Two of Cups as heart connection. This is really gorgeous. I really love that. Here we have the Three of Cups. So we see that growing, pulling together two parts, and then the sisterhood here in the Three of Cups where we're pulling together more parts together, which is really beautiful. I love this Four of Cups. Look at this. This is not boredom. It does talk about excess here. She is, I guess, being a little bit of hoarding her energies here. But I see the Four of Cups as stable emotions, and I just see this sort of holding her emotions to her. She doesn't look greedy to me. She looks calm. Again, I understand the story here, and please don't take that as an offense, but in terms of reading it as a tarot deck, minus the story, I could very easily read the way that I read the Four of Cups with this image. I think it's actually quite beautiful. She's loving all of her parts. She's holding all of her parts. Here we have the beautiful Five of Cups. Again, we have the broken vessels and the full vessels here. This is interesting because this is called the prayer line. Cast out into the world. I am the prayer line. Cast out into the world with high hopes and dreams of rich experiences. I whisper to you, cast me out again, trust in divine timing, and remember prayers never get lost at sea. I am the reminder to keep dreaming and creating anew. I am the reminder that everything that is for you is already yours. I think that's really beautiful. I also like that the water is so, because it's a suit of water, but you know, in the Five of Cups, the water feels far away, which is quite gorgeous. Love this Six of Cups. I love that she is actively going down to retrieve the pearl here. Wisdom pearls is a beautiful image. Here we have the Seven of Cups, overflowing energy. It's just pouring out everywhere. I love that. Now she has homesickness as the Eight of Cups. I read the Eight of Cups differently. Again, this is going with her story and her way of seeing it, but I will say nothing here stops me from reading the Eight of Cups the way she's going off on a journey. These cups are kind of done. She's used them. It's all, that there's come to some conclusion, and now she is heading inward. Maybe she's homesick for her own insides, for her own self, which I think could be beautiful as well. I do like this though. I am the shedding that never ends, right? I am the siren of the heart guiding the feet where to go next. So actually I think that even what she's saying here is quite, because we're now going into that inward journey. So I take that back. I am homesickness. I am the long, hard, remembering journey back to the divine belly. I am the shedding that never ends. I am the siren of the heart, guiding the feet where to go next. The journey is long ahead. It's the journey inward, which is beautiful. Oh, I love this Nine of Cups, the wish card. Oh, I love this. Absolutely love this. That is gorgeous. And then the Ten of Cups. Again, I like that there's nobody, and this is the story of woman, and there's nobody else in here. It is just her, and she is floating. She is completely at ease in the element of water, in her element. It's just gorgeous. And then we have, the Daughter of Cups here. Look at the long, like almost like a hose. She's made a hose there to the water, whereas the young mother is standing in the water. We have the Goddess Mother underneath the water, and then we have sort of that powerful in and out energy of the Grandmother of Cups. She is the keeper and holder of womb wisdom and ocean treasure. She's quite lovely. That's gorgeous. She's got the rattle. She's sounding the shell horn. Quite gorgeous, and I love her bun. Oh, I love this Fool. I love this Fool. Okay, so the next story is Mamek, the Turtle Woman. So we have this whole story of Mamek, the Turtle Woman. The wisdom mothers, or the wisdom message of this whole storyline that we're going to look at says, our mothers and theirs sacrificed tooth and nail to keep us safe and give us better than they had. Sometimes their sacrifices hurt us and leave us forever sore. Mending our lineage is hard work. This story is one of physical and emotional vigor and stamina. It is about feeling and trusting what we are here to create, carry, and then let go of. This story reminds us of how infinite we are and also how very human we are. It reminds us to take retreat and rest. We have to know our backbone so that we might live and act from it. When working with aspects of the body, earth, and mother story, call on the ancient wisdom of the spirit of the turtle to be your medicine and guide. So we have the Fool as the spirit of the moment. This is a gorgeous Fool card. You see this almost as an open womb here. It is absolutely gorgeous, and she feels like that chest open, beautiful energy of the Fool, of innocence. We have the Empress, the birthing queen. So we have someone literally in the throes of giving birth. It is not always a pretty face. Well, I guess it is a pretty. The face of a birthing mother is pretty, but she is in the contraction and the pushing and the effort and the exertion of giving birth, which I think is gorgeous. This is a powerful image, right? This is the Emperor. She is grounded mother. I mean, that is a perfect expression of woman in the Emperor position, right? She is rooted. She is grounded. It's amazing. Like, that is an awesome Emperor expression of understanding how Emperor energy does not have to be just expressed in feminine form, or I'm sorry, male form, just as Empress energy doesn't just have to be expressed in male form, that we have all of these in our bodies and expressed in our bodies. And this is a really gorgeous representation of Emperor in female body form. I love the Hermit in the child position. or the Hermit is the wise one. Absolutely. She's old, but she's in the child position, and she's in the center of a tree. Like, absolutely stunning. Wise one. Judgment, instant forgiveness. I am instant forgiveness. I accept what is. I am raw truth and painful emotion boiled down into pure love. I am compassion and tenderness. I am the heart resolved and made clean again. And then we have the world on the back of the turtle. I love this. We have different ages, we have different bodies, we have different, it's really sort of it feels like a celebration of being woman on the back of a turtle, which is beautiful. Here we have the Daughter of Pentacles. I love it, and kind of in front of a field there, very much standing on the earth. Love the world at her chest. The Mother, however, is carrying that on her back. The Goddess Mother is holding it in her arms. And the Grandmother is holding it on the tip of her fingers. So I'm sorry, I didn't even go through. I was too excited about this. I really love this Pentacle suit. But with the people, we have we have it here. Because they have their names on their title. I really, really love this deck. I was not sure. I wasn't sure, right? Because again, I loved her energy, but I don't tend to do all, as I said, all women decks, tarot decks in particular. So the story, here's the numbers. Oh, I just have those mixed up. I thought, why did I not say the names of the Pentacles? I'm sorry, I kind of did those out of order, but that's okay. We have the Ace of Pentacles as the egg, the Two of Pentacles as the dance of life. Look at the little babies balanced on her head. The Three of Pentacles as the story web. I love that. I am the mighty web of warrior women. I am the thread of story that binds us together. I am the strong connection that inspires, heals, and creates. I am the weaving of love that never stops spinning the work. Oh, I like that. Four of Pentacles, letting go. she's got a lot to hold on to with the Four of Pentacles. But again, I don't read the Four of Pentacles as a greediness card, and so I don't really see this here, right? I see this as somebody who is holding their resources to them, which we definitely can see here. Here we have the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is the broken bone. Yeah, I am the broken bone that never heals all the way. I am a deep, deep hurt. I am a story that needs telling. Embrace me now. That's an interesting look at the Five of Pentacles, that sense of disconnection, that sense of being outside, right? But with this story, you see that story of loss very poignantly. We have the Six of Pentacles. So obviously the resources are the bodies, right? Are people. Because all of them, we have sort of the egg, of course, is giving birth here, but then we have the babies as the pentacles and as the resource here. Here we have the Six of Pentacles as the helping hands. The Seven Pentacles as looking deeper. Let them grow to their full potential. The Eight of Pentacles as the octopus woman who has balancing everything, right? The Nine of Pentacles as the story woman, fertile with stories to plant, harvest, and share. And the Ten of Pentacles as the tree of life. So I would say this one is the most like pippish, but also telling a story of the other ones. I'll have to look at the other ones again in that light, but we definitely have this story of creation and the importance of our resources, which is ourselves and our connections with others there. So that is the story of Turtle Woman. And then the last story is the Roots on Fire. Did I already say, did I read the wrong one? No. The last one was Mamak the Turtle Woman. So the story here is Roots on Fire, and the wisdom message says, "Oh, the motherless one, she has had to find her way in the world all alone. It is heartbreaking and tragic. She is abused, neglected, shaved, and experimented on. She suffers for a long time with no recollection of who she is, but it is coursing through her veins. As her blood begins to boil, she begins to remember that what she is made of. She is alchemy and fire. Her light cannot be tamed into tight little spaces. Eventually, she must radiate and rise the sun. When working with aspects of magic or transformation, call on the power of your womb cauldron, your moon cycles and blood to be your guiding force. The medicine poem below was written by the most powerful witch I know, to whom I dedicate the story." And so she has a poem here called Remember by Brandy Wolf here. And she dedicates this to that. So the major themes here are the sun as holy light, and you can see this really goes imagery-wise with the moon energy as well. We have the magician as woman on fire, which I think works beautifully. She has the Hierophant as the teacher. What's interesting is that you have the teacher here. Well, I'm seeing this as you have the teacher here, but at some point you do have to cut your threads and you have to then stand on your own, which I think is really powerful there. She does keep the traditional titles. I haven't mentioned that yet. I quite like that, and she still makes it work within her themes. So other than the quartz, obviously she changes the quartz. The Hierophant, this hanged woman is gorgeous. Upside down. The Temperance as integration of fire and water. I love the background of this for Temperance. I love the red hands. I love that flame at the heart level. I think it's really gorgeous for Temperance. And then this tower I think is fantastic. This is the Undoing. Look at this. And the destruction and the separation, it says the undoing. I am the undoing, the coming apart. I ask of you to pour yourself out now, to empty and make way. It is time to write a new story from the ground up, a heart story that requires trust and openness. Fall apart already. And she separates out the words here on the page. Really powerful. I've not seen a vision of the tower that way, and I think it is stunning. Oops, sorry. So then we have the number cards with the Ace of Wands as Wild Flame, the Two of Wands as Remembering, the Three of Wands as Rainbow Connection, the Four of Wands as Reclamation. I quite love that. Definitely has celebration too here. We have the Five of Wands as Knot, what I think is absolutely wonderful. The Tangle. I am a tangle, a mangle, and muck of unchanneled energy. I love that. The Six of Wands as Magic Rising. The Seven of Wands as Guiding Force. The Eight of Wands as a moon thread. She's following that thread to the moon, outward and to the moon with the Eight of Wands. The Nine of Wands as the womb warrior. And then the Ten of Wands she has as burden. I am the heavy burden on your spirit. I am the plate too full. I am a stomach ache from the long list of doing. Release, let go, shed, and keep shedding until you feel yourself become lighter. I say, do not carry it all. So I do like that. I think even as a traditional way that I read it, again, I can still get there. With great power comes great weight, right? There is a lot of duty to the power of the Ten of Wands. And I appreciate that when a deck has such a strong theme as this, but I feel like all of these are quite easy for me to approach as a tarot deck as well separately, and that is not, you know, that's no mean feat. The Daughter of Wands as a spinner is gorgeous. The Young Mother is then knitting. The Goddess Mother has knit a whole blanket here. I love the radiating energy. And then, oh, they're making the dress, and then the grandmother is wearing the dress and flying. Oh, that is gorgeous. I really love the quartz, I will say, in this deck. I think the quartz system is really gorgeous, and you see that continuation of story through that whole process there. So, whoa, way too far zoomed out there. I don't know. I think this is gorgeous. I think it is powerful. I think it, again, just with the one video that I watched of her like speaking her truth and singing her song and embodying these cards, you could feel that. Now the cardstock is, I want to say, make playing cards. It's thin. It's definitely thin here. I like a good thin card for riffle shuffling it. It is linen, which I do love, but it is that kind of thinner cardstock of make playing cards, I want to say. But I will say with this large deck, it does at least allow me to shuffle it better that way. And it does shuffle nicely. I wonder if I can do a corner shuffle. Let's try it, because these would be, you know, large for smaller hands. But generally, if it's if it's shuffleable enough, you can either side shuffle it, which I'm going to try. I can do that. It's not the greatest because it's thinner. It's not as wide as some. But let's try a corner shuffle. There's always ways to shuffle, folks, if you just try. Yeah, you can definitely corner shuffle that quite well. So, you know, I do have larger hands for a woman, or longer fingers, I should say. So I have a bit of an advantage there than somebody who has really small hands. But because the cardstock is thin, in this case, it is an advantage to being able to grab a hold of the whole stack. I definitely have to be careful, but once I've got it, because it's bendy enough, I can riffle it. So it's not, you know, make playing cards is not my favorite cardstock at all, but this, I like the linen feel of this. And again, in the size factor here, I think it actually does benefit to the deck. So let's just pull, I'm going to pull 3 here, and then we'll take a look at the spread. Oh, my star card came up that says we are going to speak well for each other. This was, this card gave me a lot of feels, a lot of chills. The 4 of Wands, and then my third card would be the Judgment card. And in this deck, that's the card of forgiveness, right? Absolutely beautiful. I am definitely going to set with that, so I'm not going to mix these back in. But let's, I want to zoom out a little bit more to how I record. There we go. This camcorder, my new camcorder that I'm working with, can zoom out farther. So I have to try to keep it to the table. But I just want to take a look and see if I can actually do my large, what would be my large tarot reading. I'm just curious. I think I might be able to. Past, so this is present, past, and future. Give it some extra room there. I have the position of fire, the position of air, sorry, the position of water, the position of earth. Oh yeah, oh yeah. The position of what to do, love thyself. What to not do in this moment. Again, I can probably come out a little bit more with this camera anyways. So yeah, I mean, I could actually use this. Obviously, this is, to be honest, this is not a deck that I would just randomly choose for client readings, unless it was, you know, something that was very specific to somebody that I know that would really like working with this deck in some way, or if I had a specific reading to it. But for myself, I find this to be very powerful expression of woman. So she has a spread herself. I just dropped the, I'm not gonna lay it all out because obviously that's her spread, and I don't want to, you know, it's the only spread in here, so I don't want to give away her only spread here. But it really does focus on the character, and it focuses on building the story, and so she really goes into that sort of building and that rise and fall of action. So it is definitely surrounding the energy of storytelling in a beautiful way. I do like the way she's laid the cards out. There's a place for the plot. So this is definitely a spread that I will give a try, and I think, again, with some creative usage here, I think I could get this all into the into my reading space, which is important. So yeah, so it's definitely but it's really developed around the power of the story. I think this would be a quite powerful spread, and I am definitely going to try this out. So beautiful, beautiful job. You can feel, again, the energy of Jessica in this deck, and does not surprise me whatsoever. That energy really translates well. But I think the key here that I'm kind of, I will say I'm a little bit surprised with, is the fact that I really can see I can work with this, even with just my understandings of the cards, especially as more of a Rider-Waite-Smith. I can see the Magician in here, right? I can see the Sun there. The Ten of Pentacles is this web of humanity that's here. That's just going to grow and grow and grow. So I just really feel like it is doing its own thing and very much has a specific theme and a specific structure, but it still, to me, seems like it's quite workable as a tarot deck as well, separate from that. And that's not easy to do, so I really give her props for that. Again, love the variety of age, variety of body types. It's definitely just kind of covers the gamut. It's just woman as in the various ways in which we are embodied. So our physicality of a variety of different bodies and ages, and I think that is fantastic as well. So thank you very much, Miss Jessica, for giving me the opportunity to take a look at this, and I really appreciate it. And I feel like, and this is a fully female deck, right? There are no male forms in this whatsoever, but I think it's extremely powerful and usable, and it certainly is something that I actually feel at the end of this like I want to work with this. Now, I do have a currently, I purchased this after that, but I have a Mary deck that is, but that does have some male energy in it, and I have been enjoying it, and this kind of feels like the earthy, pagan-y. It has a very earthy feel to it, right? Even though it's all of the things, but it has a very earthy feel to it, and in a positive way. And I can really see that sort of being a counterpart in some ways to that more elevated, cosmic-y more feel, or divine-y feel. So yes, okay. Here you go. You know, that's this teaches me the lesson, right? That my preference to just a general tarot deck to have is to have one that isn't focused on gender, and certainly not focused on one gender, right? That is my preference. That will always be my preference for a standard tarot deck. But is there a place for this? Clearly, yes. And so I need to, you know, stretch a little bit in that way. And again, we're going to flip to the other gender and take a look there in my next video, which again I'll link these together because I kind of introed from here, and the other one I'll kind of cap it off at the end. But But you know, these two decks came, you know, these two creators called to me in the same span of a few days. Obviously, it was something that I needed to take a look at my way of looking at these things and see the benefit, right, of leaning into a particular energy like this as well. And so I'm quite looking forward to giving this a good work with. As always, I do try to come back and recap how I actually used a deck after I've done walkthroughs of particular decks. And so I will certainly do that with this as well. So quite beautiful. I enjoyed this walkthrough, and I will talk to you all later.